Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pengest travel. Today we are visiting the landmark of Dali, the Three Pagodas Temple. Actually, the formal name of the North Gate is the Three Pagodas Gate. Starting from the Three Pagodas Gate, it's a nice 20 minutes walk to the Three Pagodas Temple. The history of the temple dates back to the 9th century. There was a local kingdom named Nanzhao. In the 10th century, a kingdom named Dali was established here. All the kings of Nanzhao and Dali are devoted Buddhists. In front of the temple is a sacred road. At the end of the road, there is this very unique figure. This sacred bird could be a peacock or a garuda. There are some vendors selling souvenirs in the square, but frankly speaking, I do not suggest to buy anything from here. Turn left immediately after entering the temple. You will find a very good viewpoint for the three pagodas. The architectural form of a pagoda is not original to China. It came from India with the introduction of Buddhism. Pagoda in Chinese is ta. You can find the name is very similar to tower. It's not a coincidence because they all come from Sanskrit. The worship of Avalokiteshvara is very popular in Dali, and the first divine hall is dedicated to her. Around the very tall statue in the center, there is a collection of other forms of Avalokiteshvara. It's interesting that the image of Avalokiteshvara changed from a man to the combination of a man's head and a woman's body, and eventually to a woman. Apollo experienced the similar transformation, changing from a masculine image in Greek time to a more feminine image in Roman times. A possible explanation might be that women tend to have better public images, and this is probably the ultimate reason that the modern European monarchies are abolishing the male-preferred succession oath. Leaving the first divine hall, we arrive at the more historical part of the temple. The temple has been destroyed in history several times due to earthquakes and fires, but the local people always have it rebuilt. The official name for the Three Pagodas temple is Chongsheng Temple, literally meaning the temple dedicated to the saints. This is a very huge religious complex, and the abbot of this temple enjoys a very high stature in the Buddhist society. Okay, let's come back from the heaven to the ground. There are two plaques on the gate. The upper one says Chongsheng Temple, and the lower one says the Buddha capital. The dragons carved on the pillars indicate that this is a royal temple. If you look closely, you will notice that those dragons have only 4 tones in their claws. This is because the dragon image with 5 tones is reserved for the emperors only. The kings in Nanzhao and Dali, as well as the kings in Korea and Vietnam, can only use the dragon with 4 tones. Entering the historical gate, I found the answers for our question this morning. The sacred bird is not a peacock, it's a garuda. It's an imaginary bird that can fly very, very high and very, very far away. Actually, Garuda is my name. Peng means Garuda in Chinese. My parents gave me this name in the hope that I can achieve greater achievements, which is sadly not very likely. Behind the Garuda is the divine hall for the god of health, where people come to pray for their good health. The fruits and the candles are the sacrifices to the gods. It is believed that the more sacrifice you offer, the more likely the god will bless you. Well, I don't like this social principle. It's like a bribe to God. Opposite the divine hall for the god of health, it's the divine hall for the god of wealth. Okay, here is a very tricky question. Which one is more important, health or wealth? Well, different people might give different answers. I think more people will claim that health is more important, but obviously, the god of wealth receives more sacrifices. Further up, we arrived at the Divine Hall for the Heavenly King. The Heavenly King and his fellow guys are the guardians of the Buddha and the Buddhist order. They are vicious in appearance, but really very kind in heart. I like this idea, it's very sophisticated. Sometimes we need to take drastic measures to protect the good things, for example, peace. The freedom fighters need guns to protect the olive branch. Behind the hall for the Heavenly King is the hall for Maitreya. According to the Buddhism tradition, Maitreya is the future Buddha. He is already a bodhisattva qualified to be a Buddha, but he refuses to be promoted and lives voluntarily between the earth and the heaven. When the teachings of the Buddha is completely decayed, he will descend to earth and restore the social order. Some scholars believe that Maitreya in Buddhism came from Messiah in Judaism. He is often portrayed as a smiling guy with a big belly. So be nice to your fat friends, they are kind-hearted guys. Behind the hall for Maitreya is another hall for Avalokiteshvara. The first Avalokiteshvara hall is a modern building on the site of an ancient one, but this hall is a historical one. The image of Avalokiteshvara here has 11 faces and many arms, indicating that she is omniscient. According to the Buddhism tradition, Avalokiteshvara is a bodhisattva with great mercy and great compassion. Indeed, the image of a woman is more suitable for this role. Next time, vote for a woman if you want world peace. Around the main statue, there is a collection of replicas of Avalokiteshvara statues from other temples. Well, it's kind of an opportunistic approach. In this way, people believe that they have prayed in all those temples. Walking out of the hall for Avalokiteshvara, we arrive at the most important part of the temple, the great hall for Buddha Shakyamuni. The golden plaque says 大雄宝殿, literally meaning the Shakyamuni Great Hall. It's quite windy today. The wind chimes in front of the hall makes a nice music. Planting new plants on dead stumps. I like this idea. It's an example of samsara, rebirth in Buddhism. The statue sitting in the middle is the Buddha. Around the Buddha are the bodhisattvas and the arhats. Buddhism is a kind of polytheism. It's very difficult to recognize so many different gods. An easy way is that the taller the statue is, the more distinguished the god is. Pay attention to the dragon's claws. They have only 4 toes, indicating that this temple serves the local king, not the emperor. This is a wooden fish. It's a special music instrument for Buddhism. Beside the hall for Shakyamuni is the hall for eminent monks. Those monks were the kings of the Dali kingdom who have lost their thrones due to defeat in politics. In Chinese history, especially in the central government, the political battles are often very brutal. Considering the misery happened to those who have lost the competition for the emperor's seat, being a monk is not very bad. Behind the hall for Shakyamuni, there is another building. Let's go and have a look. The altitude here exceeds 2,000 meters. You might experience a mild high altitude reaction. You will find climbing stairs here more exhausting than on the plains. But anyway, we made it. This fountain depicts a very important Buddhism story. Dragons ruled water, clouds, and rain. When Shakyamuni was born, 9 dragons came to him and gave him bath. There are 2 plaques in front of the building. The upper one says 登高楼, literally meaning a building that stands tall. The lower one says 慈航普渡. It's a very sophisticated Buddhism blessing. I think we can translate it as Avalokiteshvara saves all. It's not surprising to see another Avalokiteshvara statue inside the building. In Chinese garden landscaping, open balconies are expected to be best viewpoints. So if you see an open balcony, don't miss it. The Erhai Lake can be seen from here. I hope you are not disappointed. I have brought my drone here, but it's too windy, I cannot fly it. We are already at the foot of the Changshan mountain. Let's have a look. It's a surprise to see that there are still some more buildings up from here. Well, I don't know if I should say we are lucky or unlucky that these buildings are not open to the tourists. Wow, we are lucky. There is some event going on in the Shakyamuni Hall. Well, frankly speaking, I have no idea what they are singing exactly, but it must be something from the Buddhist scriptures, asking for the blessing from the Buddha. It was very crowded in the morning, but it turned to be very quiet in the afternoon. I spent quite some time here, just sitting under the tree, listening to the whistle of the wind and watching the clouds come and go. Although I'm an atheist, I can feel my soul and body coming to peace. It's a magical experience. And it's more magical that the wind stopped, so I managed to take some aerial photos and videos. Before we leave, do not miss the reflection pond, which is another best viewpoint. Well, it's time to say goodbye again. I hope you have enjoyed my video. As always, any comments and suggestions are most welcomed. Please enjoy some more pictures and videos. I hope to see you again next time.